welcome to season 3, episode 7 of Will Talks About Games. This is the first edition of the podcast for the new year. I know it took a little bit longer than I usually like to, but there's a number of reasons. Number one, I tried to record this like a few times already, but for whatever reason just kept messing up. So hopefully this time will be the charm. Also, I had a different topic going in when I planned this out. Well, I don't really plan it out. Usually I just hit record and then just start talking about whatever I feel like. So I kind of wanted to do a best and worst of 2025 thing. But I really didn't like how it came out when I first started talking, honestly. If I do one, it'll probably be something like a personal blog or a Substack, something that's written down. But enough of that, this is Will Talks About Games. I'm Will, and I'm here to talk about video games. So I think this episode is going to be a relatively short one. At least I think it is. I'm just going to address some stuff that I've been seeing in the gaming community throughout the past year or so. So usually, I don't know how long these things are going to be. Like, I come in with an outline of the things I want to talk about. And usually they'll end up being more and more and more as I go deeper and deeper. Basically, I want to use this episode as an opportunity to address a few things. So, if you are listening outside of YouTube, or even if you are listening on YouTube and you're not subscribed, then do me a favor and hit that big red subscribe button. I do tons of content. I do reviews. I do previews. I do weekly live streams every Sunday afternoon, 4 p.m. Eastern. I'm on YouTube, Twitch, and Bijo Live. I'm looking to expand to more times a week, maybe Monday night, maybe Tuesday evening, but we'll see how that goes. But yeah, follow me on YouTube, and of course, if you're listening here, then make sure you subscribe, add me to your RSS, or however you do it when it comes to listening to podcasts. But enough of that. This is Will Talks About Games. I'm Will, and I'm here to talk about video games, so let's start talking. Alright, so one thing I want to speak on is this idea of video games being dead when there's no good games to play. Now, I know everybody heard that TikTok video from last year, but I'm not here to speak on that particular one, because one, I'm not about going after any single creator, and really it's not just this particular person who's been putting this stuff out there that's been saying that. It's a lot of folks, and when I hear that, it's usually from one of three places. One, it's the so-called ball and gun gamers. The cats who play 2K, Madden, and Fortnite. Two, it's usually more nostalgia tinted glasses, stuff like that. And three, it's the anti-woke space, which I'll get into in a little bit. But when I hear stuff like that, right, to me that just says it's just a person who just plays only a small amount of game. Whether it is ball and gun or whether it's turn-based RPG gamers or whatever. To say stuff like that, that just tells me that you really aren't doing much to go out there and find new stuff. It's the same thing as far as music and movies and other forms of media. I'm a big fan of hip-hop music. And back to the nostalgia thing, I know I myself, I'm a little bit biased toward 90s hip and early 2000s hip-hop, because that's where I grew up at. But even now, it's not hard to find something out today that I would like. And it's like that with video games. Matter of fact, I would even say that it's even easier to find stuff that you'll like when it comes to gaming. You got digital distribution networks like Steam, you got GOG.com, you've got itch.io, you've got, what else is there? There's Epic, there's Steam, GOG, itch.io, even PSN, and the Xbox Live stores. Also, back in the days, you had magazine, before internet stuff and social media, you had magazines. And these are some of the few places that you would know about new games. Or maybe if you rented video games back in the day. It was either video game rentals, advertisement, magazines, or basically word of mouth. That's the only way that you had to learn about new video games. But now you got social media, you got content creators, you can look on the Steam page, you can look on GOG.com, you can even look on sites like Reddit, Kotaku, there are so many places you can, if you're looking for something new, there are so many places that you can go to look this stuff up at. If you look on Steam, then you'll find games like Megabunk, Vampire Survivors, Belotro. What else is out there? If you like old school shoot 'em up games, you know, Duke Nukem 3D style, there's stuff like Sulaco, there's Supplice. If you like Blood Plus, you know, there's games, there's this game out there called Cultic, which is basically a new version of Blood Plus. I mean, well, it's not exactly Blood Plus, but you get the idea. If you like that vibe, you know, this kind of stuff is out there. And I know people hate hearing this, but I would say part of this is knowing like when to expand your horizon. If you want something new, it's out there. You just need to go find it. The problem is you're not doing like, you're not even trying to expand beyond those horizons. You're not trying to go out of your comfort zone. Like, even if you like, if you're into shoot 'em ups or even sports games, there's stuff out there that you can play. Last night I was streaming a game called Fragpunk. It's a first-person hero shooter that's made by the same people who made Marvel Rivals. I don't hear a whole lot of people talking about that, but the 1 hour that I played with it, I had a lot of fun with it. If you're into shooters and you don't like battle royale games like Fortnite, there's a game called Vigor. It's an extraction shooter. So you go into zone, find treasure, try to avoid the other players, and try to get out. It's actually a pretty fun game. Again, it's about, you know, getting the courage to go out and try to find new things. See, that's one thing I want to see people do this year, right? Just try something different, you know? Just try a game that you wouldn't normally play, a genre that you normally wouldn't be into. You know, just try something different. I mean, you, like, you know, the first time you played stuff like Madden, the first time you played stuff like Call of Duty, the first time you played 2K or whatever, right? That was still new to you, right? But you latched onto it because you enjoyed it and you liked what you saw. And of course, over time, you know, it's getting, you know, you get bored of it, you get tired of it. So just do that again. Just go outside your comfort zone. Find something new to check out, and who knows, you might find your new favorite game out there. I mean, the past few years, right, we've seen games like, I think it's Ball X Pit, Cult of the Lamb, what else? Belotro, Vampire Survivors, Among Us, and like, not even in the indie space, right? We've had stuff like this past year in gaming. If you look at the AAA space alone, we probably had one of the best years in gaming this past year. You've had Ghost of Yotei. There's South of Midnight. What else came out? There is Kazan, the first Berserker. You had so many great games out there. And like, again, it's on you to go out there and find this stuff. Cause ain't nobody trying to spoon feed it to you, but at the same time, it's easier to find these things. It's even easier now to find these things than it was when you were a kid. Matter of fact, don't even look at the AAA stuff or the indie stuff. Look at some of the more middle shelf stuff games. Things from, say, Focus Home Interactive or Deep Silver. You know, the games that aren't just like 10 out of 10 stars, but instead, they still will give you a solid and fun gameplay experience. And I'm trying to like find a good example of this right now. Like, for instance, check out A Plague Tale or The Surge. The Surge is a great Souls-like game with a sci-fi element rather than fantasy. So if you like games like Elden Ring, then who knows, you might like that. Also, if you like role-playing games, check out Greedfall. It basically takes place in a alternate version of the colonial period. So you got an interesting concept, and it's like something that you usually don't see in the genre. Yeah, don't just pigeonhole yourself to like the AAA stuff. Look at the indies, look at the middle shelf stuff. You know, just look at something that's different. Like, you're gonna find something out there if you're looking for something cool. Now, I will say there's something to be said about, like, you know, the AAA influence with like all the layoffs, all the microtransactions, all the monetization. But like, outside of that, if you saying that gaming is dead, I mean, gaming does need help, but if you're saying that gaming is dead, all that's telling me is that you're not even trying to look for the good stuff that's out there. Alright, so the second thing I want to talk about is this whole idea of real gamers and ball and gun gamers versus X gamers. and who's a real gamer and who's not a real gamer. I say, because it started to get like the pushback from, I guess, the non-ball and gun gamers is just as annoying as the ball and gun gamers. I'm gonna just say this: if you play games, then you're a gamer, flat out. I don't care if you play on NES. I don't care if you play on PC. I don't care if you play on some old school console, some Japanese console nobody ever heard of, or if you even play on mobile. So you play 2K, if you play Call of Duty, if you play Fortnite, if you play Expedition 33, if you play Final Fantasy, then if you play Candy Crush Saga, then you're a gamer. I think the elitism is just starting to become obnoxious, and that's what's really hurting the hobby. Them and the console fanboys and stuff. Like, if you play video, like, that's the beauty of video games, right? This is the same medium which gives you stuff like Doom, Claire, Obscure Expedition 33, gives you Fortnite, it gives you stuff like Stardew Valley, your Maddens, you got your college footballs, you got your Mutant League football, you got your Mario Brothers, you got your Tetris, you got your Lemmings, you got all these different varieties of games. Like, there are more different types of games than there are different types of movies, different types of TV shows, different types of comic books. So there's something in this hobby for everybody. So if somebody wants to play sports games, more power to them. If somebody likes playing role-playing games, more power to them. And if somebody likes playing shooters, then more power to them. I've been playing a mixture of simulation games. I've been playing sports games. I've been playing role-playing games. Basically, whatever comes across that I feel like I'd be into. Hell, I've even been playing hunting games these past several years. Hunter, Call It a Wild. That's been one of my favorite games of the past few, probably this past decade. I started playing that back in 2018. I fell in love with it. Last year, I played a lot of Schedule 1. That's like a drug dealing simulation. And that's another game that's another indie game that I failed to mention, like Schedule 1. There are a few other games like it. Like once that game came out and became successful, you saw a lot of indie games trying to chase that wave and trying to copy what that game's trying to do. So that's definitely something that's unique and that's new. I don't think that's quote unquote killing the game industry, but it gives people something different, and it gives you something that's not like what everybody else is doing. So we gotta stop this thing about like who's a true gamer, who's a fake gamer. Not everybody plays fighting games, not everybody plays role-playing games, not everybody plays sports games, but at the end of the day, you're still engaging with electronic entertainment. So one thing I kind of hope to see this year, it might not happen all the way this year, but it will happen significantly, Lord willing, is the whole degradation of the whole anti-woke gaming space. I had mentioned that earlier, but hopefully this is the year where things really start to turn toward them becoming irrelevant and less people listening to them. And you got more and more people calling them out on their bullshit. So let me back up for a little bit. So there's this cottage industry in nerddom. I mean, not just video game spaces, but also in movies, TV show, and comic books. You got this cottage industry of alt-right grifters who complain about things being woke or quote-unquote bad writing, and it's usually going to be something that stars a minority, or something that stars a woman, or something that that's focused toward the LGBT community, and really not even focused toward them. They just have like a significant presence in that community. And of course, I'm not going to name no names because I'm sure a lot of you already know what I'm talking about. But they're the same cats that are still complaining about Dustborn almost 2 years after it came out. They're still complaining about Concord a couple years after it came out. They spent last year bitching about Ghost of Yote having a female protagonist, plus her voice actress. A couple years ago, these were the cats who were out here crying about Sweet Baby Ink or whoever. One of them, they went after Melissa Mercante and made like dozens and dozens of videos about her, to the point where they're being sued for harassment and shit. Like, again, I'm not here to name names, but a lot of y'all already have an idea of who I'm talking about and the type of people I'm really referring to in general. Because like the Wolverine, when they showed off the Wolverine game, you had that idiot you had one idiot complaining that Mystique didn't look hot enough or whatever, and I'm gonna give you a better example of this. That Kenji Yamamoto shit that went down a couple years ago, about the whole Assassin's Creed Shadow stuff, where somebody was basically LARPing as a Japanese person who was apparently offended that Ubisoft wasn't respecting Japanese culture or some bullshit. Like, that's one thing they'll do. They'll go in and straight up lie to motherfuckers about that shit. And I think the two best ways to combat that is, one, for regular cats like us to stop giving them shine. And I'm gonna backtrack a little bit, because one thing we've seen throughout the past few years is we've seen a rise in content creators, like maybe even not even big names, right? Just like a lot of people in the gaming space or in nerd spaces, just calling these folks out and just calling them on their bullshit. Cats like TTBN Gaming, the Birdman, the folks at Actual Fandom, guys like Organized Chaos, Eric Debunks, cats like Blurred Without Fear, DQ Roman over on TikTok, Jada Frog, I think that's another one, the Mindful Gamer, the Husky Hokage. I should probably like tag a lot of these cats so you can go there and you can see their content and also see what it actually looks like to talk about games. And like cats like Commander Sterling. I know like they've been like taking a hiatus for a little bit, but that's another good one who's calling a lot of these folks out. It's like there are real issues in gaming that do need to be discussed, like excessive monetization. You got all these layoffs. You got all these companies trying to push generative AI as a way to like reduce their workforce and, cutting out the middleman or whatnot. And these things do need to be spoke on, but these alt-right grifters, they don't speak on that shit. If you hear them tell it, the video game industry is ruined because they put a pride flag in Spider-Man. I know a lot of y'all seen that bullshit as woke content detector list on Steam or whatever, and how that's a joke too, And it's like you hear them post these fake news bites, and it's stuff that can easily be debunked, or they leave out important context too. See, and that's like one of the main things I see about this stuff, right? Because if they're willing to, because a lot of times, like, they're willing to lie to you or give you some shit that's like out of context because it relies on you getting mad. Like, that's their whole business plan when it comes to content creation, right? They want you to get mad so you can get outraged about these things, and that's how they get their engagement. That's how they get their clicks. That's how they get their ad revenue. That's how they get their money. So it's like this, right? If you see them claim some shit and you don't see it anywhere else, or they're not trying to back up their source, or like they're not trying to like corroborate their sources, or they're not willing to tell you like where they got it from, just go do some research, ask somebody else that's actually in the industry, or maybe like see if anybody else is speaking on this, right? Because like you'll discover how frequently these cats mislead you. And it's like, if they're willing to lie to you about some shit that you can easily go to Google and disprove, then what do you think that says about the way that they view you? And what would that say about yourself if you continue to listen to these people and you continue to let them lie to you? Because like that's the thing about like my platform, right? I'm not going to tell you what you need to hear. I mean, I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. I definitely tell you some need to know stuff. I ain't going to tell you what you want to hear, but I'm not going to sit here and lie to you either. I mean, I do get things wrong sometimes, and there are some things I don't know and I forget to include, but I always correct myself. So I'm not going to sit here and lie to you like these cats do. But these dudes will keep just, they'll mislead you and they'll straight up lie to you because they don't care about you as a supporter or you as a fan or you as a listener. They just want that engagement off you. And the good thing is, like a lot of creators I mentioned earlier, like they're calling these people out on their bullshit and exposing that grift. That way, lots more and more people are starting to see them for who they are and seeing like all the toxic bullshit that they're putting out there. Like at the end of the day, like these people are basically using this kind of stuff as a springboard to like spread shit like racism and misogyny and transphobia and all that shit. So one day it's like they got this ruined Overwatch, and then the next day they're like spewing some transphobic pro-ICE, some racist ass bullshit. So like that's what we need to start doing. Like like, stop giving them shine, start listening to these YouTubers who are trying to tell you about these cats, and, you know, support YouTubers who actually put out content about games. I'm gonna get to that in a second. But, like, the truth is about a lot of these grifters is that a lot of these motherfuckers don't play video games. That's it, right? If these people were real gamers, right, they wouldn't be out here, like, harassing voice actresses. They wouldn't be out here threatening developers or doxing other content creators, right? I mean, like, remember when that Black Myth Wukong came out? Like, Dustborn came out around the same time, and there were more people in that space pissing and moaning about Dustborn than, you know, actually playing Black Myth Wukong. And, like, that's another thing I want you to do too. Like, when you hear these, like, I want you, like, these people, right? Again, I'm not saying no names, but you know who I'm talking about, right? I want you to go to their channels and check their thumbnails, check their videos, and see how many times they're actually talking about something that they genuinely enjoyed engaging with. Like a movie that they liked, a comic book that they liked reading, a TV show they liked watching, or a video game that they aren't playing, and then see, like, if they're not using that to, like, bash other things, right? So, like, you'll hear somebody talk about how I don't know, Schedule 1 murdered Ghost of Yote or some shit like that. Or how Ball X Pit murdered Woke Spider-Man 2 or some other shit like that, right? Go to their channels and see how many times they positively speak about the content that they like, rather than simply using that as a vehicle to bash something that they hate. And here's another thing, right? When you complain about boring characters and bad writing and shit, ask them to give you an example of what they view as bad writing, and have them tell you what actually about that would make that bad, and how they would go about fixing that. Like, 9 times out of 10, they're not going to give you a straight up answer. And that's how you know these people are grifters. They don't care about gaming. They don't care about these movies. They don't care about these TV shows. They don't care about these comics that they're complaining about. They simply want to push their narrative, and they want to push their politics on you, while they're accusing the game developers, the industry, and whoever else of doing the same shit that they're doing. Again, it's not about the games themselves. It's about the engagement. It's about the clicks. It's about the ad revenue. It's about the subscriptions. You know, it's about those likes. It's about whatever clout that you can get off that. The sponsorship deals, everything. So what I want y'all to do is, basically, this is an in-tiered mission. Like, this is in several parts. Number one, I need y'all to stop engaging with these folks. Stop debunking what they, stop trying to engage with their fan base. Cause a lot of cats, they too far gone, and they gotta be, and like, they gotta find out for themselves that these people is being bullshit. So don't mess with these guys. Don't mess with their fan base. Leave that shit to cats like TTBN Gaming, the Birdman. Leave that to actual fandom. Leave that to cats like even somebody like the Cavern Claw or Dead Domain. Leave it to these cats, because they know the best how to present their arguments. They know how to like a lot of these cats, and I'm going to list them in the description. Like, they know how to break down these arguments that the grifters are putting out, and they know how to show you the game, and they know how to show you how things work. And then, like, after that, what I want you to do is support the gaming YouTubers and the gaming content creators that are actually putting out positive content about games. You know, the cats that's actually the cats that are actually discussing games. And I'm not even talking about, like, in the anti-chud space. I'm just talking about cats that actually cover video games. First of all, myself, I got a whole channel where I deal with retro and indie stuff. There are cats like SNES Drunk, Kim Justice, she does retro stuff. There's Sega Lord X. There's another one I found called Guile Win Quotes. There's Big Old Words. That's another one. There's another one he's another one that does like retro content. You know, just a lot of these YouTubers out there that talk about video games. Cats like, say, Maximilian Dude. Matt McMuscles, that's another one that's out there who puts out game related content. So in short, Like, don't support the anti-woke chuds. And support the content creators that are actually doing positive content about video games. You know, the retro enthusiasts, the game reviewers, even just your favorite streamer, right? Like, if you got a streamer that you like watching and they not on that bullshit, just watch their stuff. And again, I'm going to put like a bunch of recommendations into the comments or the description or whatever. You know, like, I'm not trying to get no clout off people's back. I'm just like trying to point y'all in the right direction. Like, don't listen to these cats. Don't listen to these cats who are out there trying to push the agenda. Instead, listen to these positive people who know the game. And also listen to these cats out there who are talking about video games. So yeah, hopefully this is going to be the year where we're going to stop fucking with the chud space completely. We're going to watch them dry up. We're going to watch them lose their sponsors. You know, watch them lose their fan counts. You know, they fans are going to wake up, turn against them. And, you know, hopefully by this time next year, the shit will be irrelevant. And I want to say lock down our space, but, you know, just like I say, purify it from the negativity. Because at the end of the day, we're all here because we like video games. So let's get back to where we can do that and not have to worry about all this BS, all this negativity, all this who's the real gamer, this is woke, that's woke, or whatever. Because at the end of the day, we're all gamers, no matter what we play on, no matter what games we play, no matter who you are. And this is for everybody, whether you're a kid, you're just starting out, whether you're new to this hobby, or whether you've been in here for decades like myself. It's all about video games, so promote positivity and stamp out the negativity. So, speaking of talking about positive content, that brings me to what I like to call the Don's Pick. So for those of you new to this podcast, every time I drop a podcast, I like to recommend something positive. Whether it's, most of the time it's going to be a video game. Sometimes it'll be a TV show or a movie that I watched. But this podcast, we're going to recommend Dwarf Fortress. It's from Bay 12 Games. And your job is to create a fortress, a underground colony for your clan of dwarves. The game takes place in a randomly generated world, and you got a world with its own history, its own background, and its own culture. And the fun part is just like discovering everything that there is to do in the game. So what I like about the game is that it doesn't hold your hand, but at the same time, it's not going to overwhelm you. And you're encouraged to try and fail over and over again. What I like that it does is that I can start a game, have it fail within that same world, and then come back to that world and start a new game, you know, just to try to learn from my mistakes and pick up on the history that I pre-established. It's like, alright, I came in and tried this, now I'm gonna try that. There's a great community behind it, like every time I stream it, there will be one or two people who come out and watch what's going down. It's just one of those games that you gotta experience. So if you like games like Sim City or Crusader Kings, this is sorta kinda like that, but on the flip side, it's completely different. It's completely something else. If you like management games, if you like life sims, you know, if you just like something different, like I keep saying, like this is something that you definitely want to check out. It's called Dwarf Fortress, and you can get it from Steam. It's $30. It goes on sale from time to time. So if that's too expensive for you, then just wait till they do another price drop on it. But it's called Dwarf Fortress, and that's the Don's Pick. And with that, I guess that kind of brings us to the end of this podcast. So, another reason why it took so long for this to come out is that I kind of want to take this podcast in a different direction. Like, I don't want to just be recapping the big news that happened this week. Now, obviously, I'm still going to do it because I'm pretty much in for the long haul when it comes to the EA Saudi merger. And if there's like something big that's going on that's like too big to ignore, maybe I'll give it some noise, but like, I don't want to become just another gaming news commenter. This podcast is called Will Talks About Games, so I want to talk about video games, you feel me? If you remember a few years back, I did like a what if about, what if the Super CD came out, and what if SNK didn't declare bankruptcy? I kind of want to hit you guys with some concepts, you know, make you guys think, and, you know, kind of give you something different. And if I do cover news stuff, it'll be like a mini expose, kind of like the whole Amico thing or the whole thing with the Abandoned game. So I'm still kicking around some ideas on what I can do next. I think the next time you see this podcast, which should be in a week or so, maybe a week, 2 weeks, who knows. I am going to try to get this on a better schedule. But you'll see what I'm talking about when I drop that next podcast. So again, if you are not already subscribed, then please hit that subscribe button. My link tree is below. You can find my YouTube channel. You can find me on social media. You can find all the places I stream. Again, join me every Sunday afternoon at 4 p.m. if you want to live stream with me. I usually stream anywhere from 90 minutes to 3 hours. Also, I'm trying to fit in another day like I mentioned earlier, but we'll see how that goes. But yeah, it is Friday night as I record this. It's almost 8 p.m. I'm gonna run out and grab me something to eat. And I hope you guys have a great weekend. Until next time, I'm Audi 51000G. I can't believe I almost forgot my own exit call sign. Y'all have a great weekend, and I'll see you next time.